Alright, this video I want to talk a little bit about the relationship that I had with my dad and the things I used to say to him and the things that me and him got in arguments about, and we would fight, and we actually physically got into a fight a long time ago. But my dad passed away 2007. I was 19, I'm 30 now. And during the time when my dad was alive, back when I was a teenager, me and him, we didn't really get along. And a lot of parents don't really communicate well with their kids for whatever reason. But me and him didn't get along too well, and we would argue and fight, and especially at the age of teenager. I was like 15, 16, 17 at that age, and we all know at that age we can be kind of stupid and ignorant, and we think we know everything, and really we don't know anything at all. But at that age, me and my dad, and I knew he loved me, and I knew he cared for me and everything, and but we didn't get along because he would try to tell me things that I thought I already knew. I mean, I was a kid. I thought I knew everything, and I didn't like that. I was hot-headed, foolish, stupid, and doing drugs and all kinds of things, and we didn't really communicate well. We didn't know how to talk to each other because we were a lot alike. I mean, me and him, we were very similar. We look alike, and we had the same personality, and so we didn't really know how to communicate with each other, to talk to each other. We did, thankfully, before he died, I was able to calm down, and I grew up a little bit, and we were able to talk and kind of have a somewhat okay relationship. But during that age, in my teenage years, we didn't get along, and it's kind of hard to talk about because it brings back a lot of memories. But anyway, I would curse him, and I would argue with him, and yell at him, and fight with him, and I would tell him I hate you, and tell him that just tell him all kinds of bad and messed up and hurtful things that I didn't mean. But of course, at the time, whenever you're that age, you don't really care. You think you know everything when you don't know anything. But we would fight and argue, and we didn't have a good relationship. And many times after we would fight and argue, we didn't talk for a long time, and we didn't communicate. And a lot of times he would ask my mom or tell my mom that boy hates me, and and things like that. And my mom would actually come back and tell me, and my grandma would come back and tell me, why do you hate your dad? And it's not that I hated him, I loved him. It's just I didn't, at that age, I was, stupid. And I didn't know how to communicate with him because we didn't really talk to begin with. I mean, we didn't have a good understanding. And a lot of parents don't understand their kids because they simply don't take the time to talk to them. And even that, when they do try to talk to them, the kids kind of go in crazy mode, psycho mode, and get all fussy and hussy, and that happens a lot with parents. So they don't know what to do with their kids. The best thing you can do is just try to talk to them, and when they start to get like that, just leave them alone. All you can do is try. But anyway, back to what I was talking about. My dad thought I hated him, and that wasn't the case. I didn't hate him. I loved him. It's just I didn't know how to communicate that to him, and I felt like he hated me because I felt like at that time I wasn't doing anything. I had dropped out of school, and I was just staying home. I wasn't working. I didn't have any income, so I was kind of living off of him. So I felt bad about that. I was like 17, 18. I felt terrible about that because I felt like he was disappointed in me, and that hurts, or that hurted me. So I didn't know how to talk to him, and I didn't know how to communicate with him the way that I wanted to, because I wanted to talk to him because he would be sitting in the living room because his leg was amputated from diabetes and everything, and he would sit in the living room watching TV all day, and so there was nothing but opportunity for me to go and talk to my dad, but I didn't, because I felt like, for one, he hated me or disapproved of me, and for two, I didn't know what to say, because like I said, it held me back because I felt like I was, not wanted there. And, I wanted to work and things like that, but I didn't have a car at the time, so I couldn't really do too much. And it just hurt the relationship from my point of view and his, because he didn't know what to say to me either, because he thought that I hated him, and that wasn't the case. And I thought that he disapproved of me, so naturally, when two people think like that, they're not going to come together, and we didn't come together. And for a long time, many times I would walk past him, and he'd be sitting in the living room watching TV, and I would walk past him, and just not even say anything to him the whole day, not say nothing to him. He would try to talk to me, hey, how you doing? But I didn't really say anything to him. But thankfully, I had the opportunity, like I said, to get to know him a little bit before he died. He had a stroke, and it was late at night. He had a stroke in 2007, and thankfully I was the only one awake. I was in a bedroom watching TV, and I heard something hit the floor. It was like 12 o'clock, 11:30, 12. He'd been sick for a good while, like ill, and we thought it was the flu or whatnot, but actually it had something to do with the stroke. But anyway, late at night, I was about to go to sleep. I was getting ready to go to bed, and I was watching The Passion of the Christ, and I heard something hit the floor because he was in a wheelchair. And what happened was, he was trying to get into the recliner, and he had the stroke as he was getting out of the wheelchair and getting into the recliner. And I heard something like boom hit the floor, and I was thinking to myself, what the heck was that? And a part of me was like, don't worry about it, go to sleep. But something told me to get up. And finally, reluctantly, I got up and see my dad crawling on the floor, trying to get to the recliner, and he was like, he was struggling to get up, and I got there and I helped him get up, because again, he only had one leg, and I helped him get in a recliner. And when he got in the recliner, I said, "Dad, you okay?" And the side of his face was like twitching back and forth, so I knew that something wasn't right, and he was just acting kind of out of it. So I woke my mom up and everything, and they got him to the hospital, and he stayed in the hospital for a little while. And then he went to the rehab, and he stayed in there for like 30 days. And I'm sorry, son of a guns, they're the ones that pretty much killed him, because they just left him stay in the bed, didn't do anything with him. But anyway, he stayed in there about 30 days, and he came home. And then when he came home, he lasted about a week, because he had caught pneumonia from just laying in the bed all day long. And see, when he came home, I had to take care of him. I'm the one that had to change his diapers. I had to feed him. I had to do all of those things. And I had to take care of him. And thankfully, at that time, we talked a little bit, and like I said, I had to take care of him and help him and change his diapers and wipe the poo off of him and everything like that. And he went downhill real quick. And the day before he went to the hospital, he was real sick, going in and out of consciousness, like he going into a diabetic coma. His sugar was way up, and he would go into this coma and then wake up. And thankfully, I got to tell him bye. I didn't go to the hospital after he went there, because I didn't want to see him like that. Um, he knew that, and but like I said, the day before he went to the hospital, I was able to give him a hug, and he whispered. He had he whispered in my ear. He said, "I'm sorry, son. I'm sorry." And that's hard for me to even talk about because I knew he wanted to be there for me and talk to me and have a relationship with me. But he let drugs get in the way, of everything whenever I was a kid, and he knew that, and that kind of hurt our relationship, and that kind of hurt the way our lives were because we were really close when I was a kid, but of course the drugs and everything kind of messed him up, and ever since then we didn't have really a good relationship, but as a kid we were really close, and I miss that, man. I miss that. I miss my dad. But I got a chance to really talk to him a little bit before he died, and I tell you, for anybody that listens to this, if your mom and dad still alive, communicate with them, talk to them, have a relationship with them, regardless of whatever the past is. Have that relationship with them. Talk to them, reach out to them. Whatever hurt they've done to you, whatever hurt you've done to them, don't let that stand in the way. Reach out to them, and if they don't want anything to do with you, then so be it. But try and try and try and try. Don't give up, because what's going to happen is whenever they die, you're going to look back on all the things you could have done. You're going to look back on all the things that you should have done, and you're going to regret everything. You're going to start regretting and doubting, and you're going to start thinking to yourself, well, I could have done better, and we all can. So don't let whatever has happened in the past hold you back, because I can promise you this: once they're gone, they're gone. There ain't no coming back. So while you still have a chance, while you still have while you still have time, talk to them, establish that relationship with them, because I tell you, man, that's one of the hardest things to deal with, is losing a dad, losing a parent, and not having a relationship with them that could have been more. Because a lot of times, I can't even look at pictures. I can't even look at pictures of my dad, and I can't even look at pictures of myself with my dad in the same picture, because every time I do, it just reminds me so much of what could have been, and that hurts too much. It will tear you apart. So whoever, if anybody even watches this, don't live your life in fear of what they may say, or live your life worrying about this or that. Try, establish that relationship, because once they're gone, and there's no coming back. And I promise you, you will regret everything. So don't let yourself be like me. Don't let yourself fall into that category. I've seen a lot of death. I watched my grandmother die, like take her last breath. I've seen my grandpa die. My dad dead. I've seen murders. I've seen, somebody dead on the side of on the bridge, shot in the head. I've seen a lot of stuff. I've seen a lot. But what really haunts me the most is, and what really sticks out to me the most, is not having that what could have been, So again, don't be like me. Live your life 100% and establish that relationship, because if you don't, then you will regret a lot of things. So that's all I had to say. Hope somebody gets something out of it. But anyway, again, just do the best you can, and just keep trying and keep trying and keep trying.